Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. This is of a patient who attended with bilateral, fully blocked and occluding earwax, and we're just commencing with their left ear. The patient has extremely narrow and twisty, bendy ear canals. So just to give you some perspective, the endoscope at the moment is angled towards 2 o'clock, and just to the left, you can see the side wall of the cartilage. That's the second bend. And then from the second bend, the eardrum from there is probably at 11 o'clock. So it's possibly around 40 degrees, a bend and twist of their ear canal from the entrance to the eardrum via the second bend. And that's the second bend. Just to that left, you can see the side canal wall. And when you've got a bendy, twisty ear like this, it can make removing earwax quite tricky and difficult because we're having to manipulate this wax around the bend of the ear. And especially if the wax is quite firm, like it is in this case, it leads to friction and obstruction. So what I'm doing, I'm just using an ear hook just to break the wax up. It would be great if the wax plug came out in one single plug when I inserted the ear hook. Quite often that doesn't happen. We call that the money shot when it does. But instead, quite often you can use the ear hook just to dissect the wax into smaller pieces. So it's not only to remove wax, but it's also to dissect it, almost like a hammer and chisel. And when the wax is in smaller pieces, you can then go in with other instruments like I am here with the microsuction probe and just vacuum out the little fragments of wax, and then at the same time try to tease out the plug from out the ear. So again, I'm just trying to wriggle this wax. You can see I'm rocking it left to right, side to side, and I'm going to go up and down as well. And I'm just trying to tease this through. I did put quite a lot of olive oil ear spray as well, just to lubricate the side walls. And there was a thought in my mind, do I revert it to the forceps? But by then, you can see this plug came out. So it's quite a substantial plug. And even at this stage, although it's literally hanging out the ear, because of the curvature, the back end of the plug is still in the ear and it's trapped, but as you can see, we've managed to remove that. So the patient has now got this second plug, and this is really deep and impacted. So what we're having to do here is straighten the ear canal. So I've inserted the endoscope just past the first bend, which of course is prior to the second bend. You can just see there to the left. And then I've using the side of the endoscope to stretch the ear open to the right and then angle the endoscope towards 11 o'clock so this wax plug comes in view. Otherwise, if I just positioned the endoscope as I was at the beginning of the procedure towards 2 o'clock, we wouldn't see this wax plug because it's hidden around the bend. So it's just a bit more oil, and I'm slowly just going to tease this out. And the secret is when you get a suction grip, you don't want to push too hard in with the sucker because you end up pushing the wax plug further in inadvertently as opposed to bringing it forward. So you just almost want to hover over it. And again, I'm just trying to bring it around this bend. And I'm just going to rock it up and down, left to right, and you can see it's breaking up from the bottom. The bottom part of this wax plug is a bit softer. So even if I can break this up into a smaller piece, it then makes it easier to wriggle out the ear. So this plug would be a bit more difficult to remove with forceps because it's more spherical. There's nothing to really grip onto. When you use forceps, you must be able to get the jaws to grip onto something, and it's a bit difficult when the wax plug is very circular because you don't get that grip. So again, just brought this just here. This is the second bend. I brought it forward. So this was originally on the eardrum, so I brought it forwards by approximately 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres. And I'm now just going to use the hook to get in and behind this plug. I'm going to try and take it out in a big piece, but you can see it just defragmented there. Again, just going to insert it. So I'm inserting it towards the front part section of the ear canal. So we call that the anterior canal wall. And once I've got the hook in, I'm rotating. I'm not only turning the hook clockwise, so the tip of the hook embeds into the core of the wax plug, but I'm also then rotating the whole hook at the same time, again mimicking and mirroring the curvature of this patient's ear. So the patient's got an S, we all have, but this patient's got a really S-bend shape. So you can see how much I'm having to straighten this ear canal. Past the second bend, I had to slow down, reposition, literally cocks my wrist. I have to use my wrist here to get around this bend. Now, the back part of the eardrum, there appears to be some skin. So going in, past the second bend and veer back to the left. So I wasn't sure if this was just a bit of tympanosclerosis, a bit of scar tissue, thickening of the eardrum, or if there's some dead skin. So I just went in with a fine and I'm just kissing the surface of the eardrums. If it's a bit of dead skin, you'll be able to hear it. Well, you won't be able to hear it because there's no audio there, but I'll be able to hear it, and you'll be able to sense, you'll be able to feel some grip, and it wasn't it. So it's just a bit of scar tissue there, a bit of thickening of the eardrum, so it could have been in the past. They've had a bit of trauma to the ear. Same patient, this is their right side, so this piece of wax is right near the entrance, so just rocking it right to left, and it's a lot of skin here as well. Now this was their worst ear, the right ear, ironically, but it was a lot easier to remove. And what I'm doing here, I'm just using what I call the tragus technique. So because the wax is visible at the entrance of the ear, and I don't really have to insert the endoscope into the ear so far, I can just rest the endoscope on the tragus. Now the tragus is the triangular piece of cartilage that we all have externally, so it's not in the ear, it's on the outside part of the ear, and it almost acts like a door or screen to the entrance of the ear canal. That's the tragus. So you can quite often just rest the endoscope. If you're able to remove the wax without having to go past the second bend, like in this case, I'm just suctioning in the first bend and the wax is coming out, even if the wax is deep, with the force of the suction probe, I'm extracting and bringing forwards the wax that's deep towards the entrance without even having to enter the ear. So we call that the tragus technique. So again, just into the ear. There's a bit of dead skin just at the top of the hammer bone, but that skin, it's not in a retraction pocket, so we don't need to be concerned by that. So if there's a retraction pocket and the skin was stuck in there and it wouldn't be able to escape, then you have to be careful that might develop into a cholesteatoma. That's the skin plug, the large one that came from the patient's left ear. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Do take care of yourselves and stay tuned. I've got loads more videos to upload in due course. Thanks, bye.